So the world feels pretty chaotic, right? Where do you even start to find some calm? We're all asking that. But what if the answer isn't some newfangled app, but an ancient philosophy? We're going to dive into Stoicism, but not as some dusty old history lesson. Think of it more like a practical operating system for a calmer, better life. Let's see what these ancient thinkers have to say to us today.
So does this sound familiar? You're stressed. You're overwhelmed. You feel like you're just not in control. The source material we're looking at today puts it so simply. Some of us are stressed, others are overworked. And yeah, that's it, isn't it? We're always being pulled in a million directions, reacting to a world that just won't slow down. It's so easy to feel like you're just a passenger on this really bumpy ride.
But what if you could grab the wheel? I mean, really take control. That's the core promise of Stoicism. And look, forget the images of marble statues and old dusty books for a second. Let's think of this as a super clear, actionable program, one designed thousands of years ago to solve the exact same human problems we're all dealing with right now.
All right, let's start with a really basic question. Think about it. When you get angry, or anxious, or just totally frustrated, what's actually causing that feeling? Is it really the traffic jam? Is it really that annoying email from your boss? Or is it maybe something else?
Okay, here's the first big aha moment from the Stoics. They basically said that stuff that happens out there, it's all neutral. A traffic jam? It's just cars on a road. A critical comment? Just a bunch of words. It's our judgment about these things that causes all the trouble. It's the little voice in our head that says, this is a complete disaster, or how dare they insult me? That's what creates the emotional storm. The problem, they figured out, starts on the inside.
So once you really let that sink in, the next step is maybe the most powerful, practical tool in the entire Stoic toolkit. It's a super simple distinction, but honestly, it changes everything.
And here it is. This is the absolute core of the whole philosophy. The Stoics basically split the entire universe into two columns, things you can control and things you can't. That's it. Now think about how much time and energy we pour into that right-hand column, worrying about what other people think, about the past, about things totally outside our control. It's exhausting, and it's pointless because we have zero influence there. So the Stoic game plan is to be ruthless about focusing all, and I mean all, of your energy on the left side. Your judgments, your responses, your actions. That's it. That's where 100% of your power is.
The philosopher Epictetus just absolutely nails it with this quote. And you got to remember, this guy was born a slave. He eventually became one of the most respected Stoic teachers ever. What he's saying here is so profound. The real measure of a good or bad life, it's not your bank account, it's not your health, it's not your job title. It's the quality of the choices you make inside your own mind, the one thing that you and only you can ever truly control.
Okay, so if we're only supposed to focus on our choices, what happens when life, happens? When things inevitably go sideways? When you deal with setbacks or rude people or just totally unexpected problems? The Stoic answer is kind of amazing. It's you train.
Yeah, this quote right here, it's a huge mindset shift. Epictetus is telling us to look at every single challenge not as some terrible disruption, but as a sparring session. You know, that difficult coworker, the flight that just got delayed, that sudden crisis, those things aren't getting in the way of your life. They are your life. That's the gym. That's the workout.
So what exactly are we training for? Well, the Stoics called it virtue. And listen, this isn't some stuffy, abstract idea. For them, it boiled down to 4 really practical traits. When you face something scary, that's your chance to practice courage. When you resist a dumb impulse, that's temperance. When you treat people fairly, even when it's hard, that's justice. And seeing a situation clearly for what it is, that's wisdom. The key takeaway here is huge. You don't get good at this stuff by having an easy life. You forge these virtues right in the middle of the fire.
Okay, I get it. This all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you make it a real, consistent practice? Well, you guessed it, the Stoics had a plan for that too. And it's a simple little ritual that takes like 5 minutes a day.
So the Roman philosopher Seneca had this nightly routine. He'd ask himself these questions. And this is so important. It's not about beating yourself up or feeling guilty. It's a calm, objective review. The best way to think about it is like an athlete watching game film after a game. Okay, what did I do well? Where did I mess up? What's my strategy for tomorrow? It is an unbelievably powerful way to build self-awareness.
And this is a really, really key point.
You know the famous book, Meditations, by the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius? That was his private journal. He wasn't writing it for anyone else. And this evening review is the exact same idea. It's for you, only you. The goal isn't to create some perfect image for social media. It's about raw, honest self-reflection and getting clear with yourself.
All right, so let's be real. What happens when you have a bad day? When you totally lose your temper, you get distracted, and you forget every single thing we just talked about. It's going to happen. And the Stoic approach to this is, well, it's tough, but it's also incredibly forgiving.
You might have heard of the method Jerry Seinfeld used to write jokes. He'd get a big wall calendar, and every single day he wrote, he'd draw a big red X over that day. And after a few days, you have a chain. And your only job becomes, don't break the chain. Well, practicing Stoicism is exactly the same. It's a habit you build one day, one X at a time. Each day you do it, you add another link, and you start to build some real momentum.
And this right here is such a liberating idea. So you missed a day? You broke the chain? It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. Stoicism was never about being perfect. It's about committing to the practice, day in and day out. You can restart, right now, in this very second. That power to just begin again is always, always there for you.
So let's make this super real. Forget about all the grand philosophy for a minute and just bring it down to today, right now. With all the noise and all the stuff that is completely outside of your control, what is the one thing, maybe it's your perception of something, or how you respond to an email, or one simple action, what's the one thing you will choose to own completely?